It's quite a special painting because it was painted for his own pleasure. Everything you see here is him. It is wholly autograph. It's really exciting to see these details emerging.
Hello, my name is Larry Keith. I'm Head of Conservation and Keeper at the National Gallery, and I'm here to talk to you today about the restoration of Rubens' late great landscape, the Chateau Het-Steen. What we're doing now is cleaning the painting, and that is to say, we're taking off the varnish coating supplied long after Rubens finished painting the work. We think the varnishes that we're taking off now are mostly around 75 years old, some a little bit older due to partial cleanings in the past. Nonetheless, you can see these varnishes that come off because they're yellow. They've changed they were applied clear and they've degraded and become quite yellow. This is mostly down to ultraviolet light acting on the varnish films. Happily now we don't have any ultraviolet light in the gallery, so the varnishes we apply, we are pretty confident will not degrade so rapidly. Nonetheless, these yellow varnishes distort all the color relationships, and you can see as they come off how changed the landscape is and how you can understand Rubens' amazing juxtaposition of yellow sunlight and yellow light hitting the white clouds, and the way he's using cool blues to lead you back into the landscape. And so I think taking off the varnish here is quite revelatory, allowing you to see an artist really working for himself at the peak of his powers in a completely free and personal way. We take off the varnishes using various combinations of organic solvents that are designed to work on the varnish alone and not affect the paint at all. Typically we have different ones we use, and we can manipulate what kind of mixtures we use depending on what we're trying to achieve, what kind of combinations of varnishes we may be faced with and whether they behave differently. This one is a rather straightforward cleaning, and so the varnish solvents we use are utterly conventional.
Well, as you can see, I'm rolling a bit of my solvent mixture on the varnish. You see it's starting to come. I may go back and tease out some remnants of softened varnish that's settled in the hollows of Rubens' exuberant impasto. And already, look, here's some more or less pure white juxtaposed with the yellow, a distinction that, as you see up here, was completely illegible beneath the varnish. What you see now is the picture with most of the yellow varnish reduced or removed. Starting on the left, I'm moving across to the right, and you can see the level of difference here. The painting has, at various times, had different treatments, different kinds of toned varnishes as well. We have got records of evidence of the picture having had selective colored varnishes applied. It's really interesting to think about the history of taste and what that means about, at different times, this kind of vibrant, exuberant use of local color, and the key difference between cool and warm was something that I think was deliberately suppressed in a wish to have a lovely overall golden glow and tonal unity, which I feel is just not letting Rubens be Rubens. But anyway, we're looking into that as we go across, but the cleaning of the picture in this case is doing that. And as I remove the varnish, I'm encountering some old retouchings from various campaigns of restoration, covering old damages, many of which have discolored themselves, the retouchings, so they're coming off as well before I do my own restoration. So here we have got a network of losses where the panel's been compressed, or an old split here with a retouching going across. So that's part of cleaning as well, is removing old restorations where they're not useful and clearing the way for doing them now with more stable materials. A few things I think are really interesting also to think about is just how free the handling is. Now, I guess Rubens is almost a byword for a very efficient artist running a business with a very fixed habit of delegation and collaboration in the studio, but this picture stands outside that. This is a panel painting he made shortly after he purchased the property you see in the left, the Chateau Het Steen, which he used as his country retreat and mansion in the last years of his life. It's quite a special painting because it seems pretty clear it was painted for his own pleasure to decorate the house you see in the painting. And everything you see here is him. It is wholly autograph at a level of finish that wasn't about clients. It was what he wanted the picture to look like. And so from that point of view, it's really exciting to see these details emerging, like these bits of pure white deployed to suggest the bubbling of the brook as it turns the corner and comes down across here. It's something almost like, well, obviously very influential to someone like Constable, but you can see the similarities and the freedom of movement with the brush, and the juxtaposition of very fine, quick painting and very rough brush strokes. The way he uses very strong impasto to suggest recession and also things poking out from through the foliage. It's really bold color and bold brushwork, and again, it's something I think we can appreciate much, much more as a result of the cleaning. And I think it's useful to think about the implications of removing that yellow varnish. It's not just that it's less yellow, but what it does for our reading of the picture itself. This is an exciting painting in terms of their handling, Rubens' handling of paint, but it's still working in a kind of older Flemish tradition of the kind of bird's eye view in the distant landscape, moving back with aerial perspective of blue. So the whole juxtaposition of the warm russet tones of the late summer, early autumn landscape in the foreground, and as the recession goes back and back and back, the colors get cooler and cooler. And so you can see how the yellow varnish has been suppressing that skillful deployment of the warm and cool tones. And furthermore, it is meant to be morning. You see they're going off to market. There's a hunter with a lurcher going after some grouse or partridges, quail, I'm not sure, in the foreground. But the sun is just here, very low in the sky, and you can see it's actually below some of the clouds, and it's a strong raking light casting a very yellow, warm light on the sides of the trees, and there are these yellow and orange highlights in the sky juxtaposed with the white. And of course, that's very hard to see here because of the distortion of the yellow varnish, which, to be fair, I haven't cleaned down here either. The yellow varnish is not as distorting of the color relationships in the warmer tones, these golden, warm browns and reds and oranges. But when it's over the cooler tones, it really does change our reading of the picture. And that's something that really fundamentally alters what we can understand of Rubens' intent. And so it's been rather thrilling, really, to see the landscape literally open up as a result of the cleaning. It even makes clearer how he's constructed this extraordinary receding diagonal, and you get a real sense when you look at it slightly obliquely of it moving back and how the whole composition is constructed to do that. It's very, very dramatic and really, really stimulating to think about if this is something that's based on how it was hung originally, whether there's a strong case for the idea of it being seen from the side, perhaps even with the real light source mimicking the placement of the sun in the picture. But in any case, I think it's very clear that as we've removed the yellow varnish, this recession is really, really dramatic and very effective.
Now that the varnish has been removed, the cleaning finished, and overpaints removed as well, old restorations, we're ready to do the structural treatment of this amazing, interesting and complex panel, a treatment I'll be doing with Britta New, our specialist panel expert in lower conservation.